안녕하세요. Hello friends. Welcome back. So this week we are taking a departure from our usual silk-clad life into a little bit more of a linen life. I know, going into fall, one would think, but whatever. I like what I like and I do what I do. So I probably, like many, hopefully, have watched at least one episode or one series or maybe all of the Netflix series Kingdom, the Joseon Period zombie series. I mean, every single part of that equation is a win. So, in that show, they do give a wide range of non-silk garments. I see a lot of linen. There's rami cotton. There's the Hanbok morning clothes, usually made out of the white or really light colored mochi rami. Could be corrected on that name, but usually white for morning clothes. So lots of that going on, but I have a lovely blue linen. So initially I thought I was going to do something called a dopo. It's just like one of my standard coats. In the Danryangpo video, it is the robe that I had on under the final Danryangpo, that white one. But big sleeves and standard leftover right closure. However, I figured I would do something a little different. I have lots of linen dopo, socheongi, jikryangpo, lots of just standard linen robes, but I want to do something called a cheollik. Now the cheollik is or was a military garment during the Joseon period, and it is the same sort of standard setup with the apke and sop and dutki back, except at the waist, or it's sort of where the waist is sort of changes decade to decade, but the bottom is a pleated skirt. So if you do follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen a great deal, many of these cheolliks, but I do not have one in a beautiful linen quite yet. So what I need to do is, as opposed to going all straight down to the floor in these, I am breaking it up into a top half and then the pleated bottom. So the top, I still have my standard pieces. These are my measurements. I am 5'6". Hanbok is a little generous and can be a one size fits all lies. So these are my measurements, 5'6". I actually wear a boy size 14, 26, 28 pants, wear a size 36 suit jacket. So 20 centimeters wide, 19 centimeters wide, 20 centimeters wide, 19 centimeters wide, sop and apgil. And for these top pieces, I usually give a generous 45 centimeters in length. Now I do the standard sort of guesstimation of 3 times the length of what we need to reserve for pleating. So I am doing totally incorrect and a little bit wasteful, as time and time again has proven, but I still do it. So I'm gonna reserve 150 centimeters each. My pleating section, I do 3 sections, one for the back and one each for the front, to give me side pocket access or what have you. So I will do 3 pleated sections of 150 centimeters initially, pleated down to what I need width-wise for these pieces. So right now I have a nice yellow little pin marking where all of this is reserved for pleating. And then from here on, I have a little bit of quick markings to measure out. Over there is going to be a sleeve, debating if I'm doing full big sleeves or sensible sleeves. Who's to know? Who's to say? We'll see, and maybe flip a coin. So, sorry to say I was a bad little maker and neglected to film the cutting out and the putting together of the top portion of the garment, but it is exactly as if you watch the Danryangpo video, the exact way of putting together the 4 total front panels and the back piece with the sleeves. It is very simple, just the flat lining, I believe it's called. Just each pattern piece has its lining. Sew it together, flip it inside out, iron it, sew it together. Pretty easy. Now as for these pleats, I used to have a measuring guide, but after the first project, I hated the anxiety and standard of measurement that I had in front of me. So since then, I have free-handed all of my pleated garments, waistband pin tucks, or these Cheollik skirts. I find I just have a little bit more freedom for excess or to make up more or whatever I need to do with them. I do intentionally like having a little extra because I will overlap the front panel skirts over the back just for a cleaner transition of skirt panel. Now the cholik that I am making, or the ones that I usually make, are a little different from what you'll see contemporarily nowadays. I have based mine off of an extant artifact called the Joseon Period from the 14th century, which was found inside of a wooden Buddha statue in Hapcheon in South Gyeongsang province. The specific kind of cholik that they found differed from those worn by military officials in the Yi dynasty of the Joseon period, because this one had slim sleeves as compared to the big sleeve lifestyle that I and most of the Joseon period tended to have. But this was so much more of a contemporary look, considering it was found back in the, or to be made back in the Goryeo period preceding the Joseon period of the Yi dynasty. But I just loved the reproductions and the pictures of this garment. Just for the slim sleeve, you don't have to worry about getting stuck or caught or rubbing against something. So why I have made the distinct decision to model my cholik after this and developed the pleated waistband, which I will add on top of the waist connector of the skirt and the upper jacket pieces. A few do not, and they have just a nice clean attachment to them. I have a sheer blue cholik vest, and that one does not have the pleated waistband, but just for a clean look. It also hides many a sin in the attachment process, but that is my justification for why mine look a little different. Here I am just attaching the pleated belt section to the garment. Now I also have put in a layer of horsehair interfacing. Yet another thing I unfortunately did not record. But just to add a little bit more structure, I really prefer to have something almost cinch-like around the waist. So the interfacing just gives me everything I need in that arena. Hello, so it is day something. I don't really know. I think it's like 4 or 5. Took a few break days in between. So currently I am in my linen cheollik. So we stitched down the waistband area here, and I just need to flip this since I made a little bit more. So I'll make a clean under. I think I'm going to do that by hand. We did the hand pleating madness. I overestimated as usual. So on the side here, I'll obviously get a better something, but I had to fold over, so it's a little thicker, but whatever, what now? Now, one of last steps that we have here, this is our Git color piece. Now, I had a few options for the Dangjiang white strip. Traditionally would be lined with paper and a very sheer white silk gauze. and that could be replaced as per getting dirty, changing, whatnot, what have you. But for this one, I wanted to do just a lighter color linen. So I have inside here some horsehair interfacing, and I just fold it in half, did a stitch down the center. Now for the white part of the collar, I did wrong side out, stitched, then I folded over and just folded all these under and stitched it clean. Now this is the inside, and this is what's going to be facing out, of course. So I just need to fit this pending onto the garment that we are wearing, and then all that is left should be, focus, our gorum strips here. So I have the usual 4 to close the garment, and then I have 2 additional that will go on that pleated belt area. So we will check in a little bit, probably after setting. Hopefully, we'll see. Here is the process of adding the fairly already finished Git collar with the Dongjong white collar strip to the actual robe itself. Now, from what I am saved in terms of tear with my own easy sleeve setting, I believe this is this collar setting process is where I get my own version of sleevel hell. There's always just something I always know I can do better when I go about this process, whether or not I am pinning it in flat on the ground and just patterning flat as Hanbok art ought to do, or on a mannequin like I was doing. And as you can see, I gave up that, where it's just easier for me if I've marked where I need it to hit, and then proceed to pin and sew in place just by hand on the floor, where I belong, like a little floor gremlin. As well, this upcoming Sunday, September 21st of 2021, is Chuseok, or Korean Thanksgiving for best equivalency, as well as Mid-Autumn Festival in other Asian countries. So it is a holiday weekend upcoming, many festivities. In Korean tradition, this is one of the holidays that you may dress up in Hanbok for. It is celebrated by making the long journey back to your hometown, preparing food, a big dinner, as well as offerings of food and gifts to your ancestors in a very specific table setting. But just a time for family and thanks. It moves around due to the lunar calendar, so every year it will arrive on a different day in the Western calendar. So happy early Mid-Autumn Festival, happy early Chuseok, 보내세요. So happy holidays, everybody. And here is our finished Cheollik. Now, I have honestly been wearing this a couple days now, and it is absolutely marvelous. Breathability is A+. There's no sejolde, the tie, creating a heat band around my chest, so this is all so very nice and loose. I don't wear too many underlayers with it, so it is just breathable linen all way round. Now here we have our pleated skirt bit. Now what I was talking about in terms of the extra panel, or the extra, whip y'all around here, I had to fold over the extra, so it creates a double round like that, which I honestly don't mind. It gives a little bit more volume, which we could use. I should have honestly ironed this, but I didn't care. I just got to sewing because I wanted to wear it. So I pleated these separately, then attached to the upper jacket, which without the collar is almost like a little bit of a bolero jacket. Attach, and then waistband right on top. Now our waistband, like I said, I folded over and stitched in like that. I can be a little bit more exacting, but I do like how sturdy this is and creating like a cinch when we tie in. Now, there are so many different ways to do our collar attachments, but I just went easy, and pinned this flipped to make just a nice fold here. Then obviously I just did a top stitch all the way around and had the collar piece completely prepped before it was installed in. So we have our standard ties together, and then 3 ties on this side. But we are very happy with this, and because it is a nice linen, I can always underdress a little bit more layers come winter time, and it's giving me everything I need in terms of more of a discreet color when I don't want to be quite as flashy, but still giving me all the traditional hanbok that I need. So as I did just state, I always have the option of adding layers underneath this to give a little bit more warmth for the fall and winter months. But for right now, in this current seasonal state we are in, I am absolutely fine. And like I also said, it fits the bill for just when I want to feel a little bit more discreet. And this is just sort of like comfy wear, I guess. My version of sweatpants or casual wear. It's really easy to move around when I don't have to worry of it being like a treasured piece of silk that I'm gonna damage at work on a cardboard box or something. It's pretty sturdy. It's, once again, has the breathability. So all around, just everything I could have asked for and more. Now, the sort of crowning masterpiece, I guess, of a military outfit, at least traditionally, would be a hat. Now, the hat I'm about to put on, I've seen referred to as either a Cheollik or a Jeonrip, a heavily armored hat to protect from falling arrows. It would be made out of a rough, I guess, pig or boar hair. And once again, another status marker, the feathers of pheasant and peacock together representing the highest ranking. This I sort of threw together myself in a DIY effort, but fits the bill for right now. I don't wear it too often because it is quite the say something hat day hat, but I do indeed love it. So thank you guys for joining me on yet another of my making hanbok journey adventures. If you like this video, remember, please do give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you have not yet already, and stay tuned for some other upcoming adventures. 시청해 주셔서 감사합니다. 안녕.